When you first become aware of the fact that you are actually the only one that is creating your reality, there is a certain level of balls that you actually have to have in order to just make that decision and have the conviction that what you said is the truth is actually now your truth. Because at first, when you're like doing things this different way than your ego is used to, it's going to panic. If you're saying something is now a completely different way to how it looks on the surface, your ego at first is going to have like a fucking spiral about it. But it's important to just remember that you're not the one that's spiraling, you're the one that's aware of the spiral happening. And that is completely normal for your ego to sort of freak out when you select a different timeline to the one that is currently manifest in your experience. And this is why reality creation will not feel natural or organic to you if you are still not fully accepting of the fact that you are the only creator, because you will still let the 3D influence you and you will still let it throw you off course and start looking to it for answers when you're where the answers are. So for example, if you're like, you know, I have this much money, that's what I want, that's my truth now, and your bank account is not currently reflecting that, you have to have the balls in the conviction to be like, no, I know the truth that I am the only creator of my reality, and this is only just a mirror of my past assumptions. I've now chosen different assumptions, and therefore it has to change. And it's having that conviction to not let it affect your new desired state. At first, it feels so fucking backwards because you are so used to living in your 3D reality and accepting that that is the truth. But really, the truth is completely opposite. The truth is the inside. The truth comes from within. Not that, again, there's an inside and an outside. It's just a reflection. But if you're looking to the 3D to tell you things about who you are, you're literally just going in a loop, because who are you asking? Who are you asking? You're asking your reflection to tell you what you are. Surely you know what you are. So if you find yourself being like, whoa, this is a completely different experience, it does take conviction and it does take balls to actually be like, no, I don't care how it looks. This is the truth. I am the only creator of my reality. And not get thrown off track and be like, oh, actually, no, I changed my mind. If you've actually decided, you can't change your mind. You can't. Because you have accepted the fact that you are the truth. And that is what, with a lot of Neville Goddard teachings, everyone, you know, seems to want to hang on to these teachings about the law of assumption, which can be really detrimental if you don't actually understand what Neville Goddard was actually chatting about. There's this idea of persistence, like persist in the state of the wish fulfilled. Neville Goddard did not mean persist in this fantastical illusion that you have made up for yourself, this pedestalized, imaginary, dreamy version of reality that you actually don't think is attainable for you, and try and feel a certain way every second of the day, and if you don't feel that, then you're not gonna get your manifestation. That's not the fuck what he meant. The persistence comes from the conviction that you know that you are source and that you cannot go back on the decision that you made. Persistence is something that happens naturally when you genuinely have accepted your desired reality, or the whatever you want to be, whatever you say you now are, when you've actually accepted that as your truth, no matter what shows up in the 3D, no matter what thoughts come up about it, and no matter what feelings arise about it. That is persistence. Persistence is not trying to feel a certain way. It's not trying to visualize your end desire every minute of the day, despite what's happening. That's not it. Persistence is knowing that because you fully decided and accepted who you are now, that's just what it is. Persistence is the knowing that that's just who you are now, despite anything else. That is what persistence is.